I'm fortunate enough right now to command 21,000 of the finest Americans in Iraq right now. I've got brigades from Fort Bliss, Texas, Fort Riley, Kansas, Fort Lewis, Washington, 2 brigades from Hawaii, an aviation brigade and an engineer brigade, and of course 1 brigade from my home state of Georgia and Fort Stewart and 3rd Infantry Division, and my division headquarters is here. That makes up the 21,000 soldiers. It's an example of the modular army at work, no question about that. What we're doing right now in northern Iraq, essentially partnered full spectrum operations. That means all types of operations from combat when necessary to stability operations, the full spectrum partnered. We don't do anything unilateral. It's all with our Iraqi partners in probably the most demographically complex battle space in Iraq. We've got a little bit of everything here, and obviously what we have here that does not exist in other parts of Iraq is the Kurd-Arab fault line, if you will. That's what I mean by the demographically complex area. It is about the size of the state of Georgia, about 250,000 square miles, and our current operations could be characterized as supporting the provincial reconstruction teams, moving to police primacy in the cities as best we can, and then outside the cities, establishing a capacity in our partner Iraqi army forces that will allow them to assume our battle space completely as we continually draw down throughout this year. Our focus of operations right now has been on, with our partners, tamping down the violent extremist networks. They still exist. They've been knocked back pretty hard lately, but still, because they're cellular in nature, still can pack a punch with a high-profile attack. Besides tamping down the violent extremist networks, keeping as good a lid as we can on Kurd-Arab tensions, and then also prepping for the elections. First, the status of Kurd-Arab relations. Everything right now is colored, if you will, by the upcoming elections. And so there is a natural tension that requires confidence-building measures in the areas where Kurds and Arabs exist together, or where Peshmerga forces exist across the line from Iraqi army forces. Natural tension there. Political rhetoric does not help as we move towards the elections. So we're watching that very carefully. I have to admit, though, I am on the ground with the Iraqi army forces and the Pesh forces. I talk to the commanders of each side. We are very fortunate to have rational actors on both sides of the line who will pause when something happens. Perhaps a bomb goes off in an area and tensions rise, or if there's a troop movement that is unexplained or uncoordinated. No one leaps to conclusions, no one mobilizes forces, no one goes to guns. These are rational actors, and we are quite frankly partnered with them and talking to them daily. And so that's the good news story. I believe we can keep the tensions down. We can avoid fighting between the two forces. Unfortunately, because the political rhetoric exists, the extremist groups want to capitalize and throw fuel on the fire of that tension. This is one Iraq. It's very positive. Since I've been here, I've been impressed by many things. I've been impressed by the quality of the Iraqi security forces, particularly the Iraqi army, and I can give you vignettes on that if anyone's interested. But I'm very impressed with the quality, very impressed with the desire for unity, and that goes to the KRG. So I can tell you right now that the current KRG leadership sees on the horizon an integration of the Pesh into the Iraqi army. Yes. The biggest concerns are the Kurd-Arab tension and any desire to interrupt the seating of the government. And then, as we draw down, the ability of the Iraqi security forces to assume the battle space with some of the niche capabilities that we provide right now. We do a lot of route clearance. The Iraqi Army has a route clearance, and that's driving down the road with mine rollers and certain types of technology that helps you find improvised explosive device and mines and that sort of thing. We do route clearance right now. The Iraqi Army has a route clearance capability. It's nascent. It's growing. We want to see that grow further. They are beginning to conduct intelligence-driven operations, and we'd like to see that continue and improve and expand. There's just some niche capabilities that they need to acquire to properly assume the battle space the way we'd like to leave them with the greatest capability possible for what they have to do, defend their nation, and to secure the population. And then the last part is it's a subset of the Iraqi security forces being ready to do that. That is building, you asked me what my concerns are, that adding to that concern would be building the institution that is the Iraqi Army and building the institution that is the Iraqi police. Right now, I have Iraqi units that are capable of independent operations at low level, at brigade and below. Some Iraqi divisions are capable of independent operations, but the institution that gets them spare parts, that gets them bullets, that gets them the things they need to sustain routine operations, that is still growing.